So now I've had the Samsung Galaxy A51 for a couple of weeks now, and I know a little bit more about it than I did when I first unboxed it. I took it to Las Vegas to CES with me, and I used it. And now I have some final thoughts. And it'll tell you whether or not you should buy this phone. I'll tell you all about it. Can everyone say this for me? Seems like you like this part. Everyone seems to like this part. So let's get hyped. Are we ready? All right, let's do this. Right after this!
This is, you listening to Travis.
What up, players? Welcome back. And for all you new people, welcome. My name's Travis and I do tech videos every single week and have a blast doing them. If that sounds like fun to you, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Anything I talk about will be in the description below. But for now, let's just get into the video. So before I get started talking about the Samsung Galaxy A51, I have to clarify something. You see, I just got back from CES 2020 and I met some of the viewers of this channel, as well as some of my fellow creators. And pretty much every single one said the same thing. So I want to take the opportunity to clear up the controversy surrounding me. And I know you've been wondering, or maybe some of you think you know and you just don't know. I'm going to clarify it right now. I'm not short. For some reason, people think I'm short. I don't know why. I haven't figured this out. This is news to me. Everyone kept telling me that I'm taller than what they thought I was when they met me in person. I don't know what that means. How do you think I'm small? How do you think I'm short? I mean, short people are cool or whatever. I know some short people. Andrew Edwards, that's a short dude right there, but he's a big personality. I'm just a big dude with big personality. So I don't know. Anyway, just wanted to get that out of the way. I'm tall. And something else you may not know about me, I don't wear pants when I shoot these videos. I'm not wearing pants now. I never do. I never wear pants. When I come home, I don't wear pants. I just take them off. Anyone else there in the no pants gang? If so, leave me a comment below. On to the Samsung A51. Now here's the thing. This phone, as I said when I first unboxed it, is basically a mid-range phone. There's a lot of good things to like about this Samsung phone. Number one, it's only about $350 depending on where you get it from. Now I have the international version. There was a little bit of controversy that I was not aware of when I first posted my first impressions video. I later found out that a lot of sellers, at least on Amazon and I think some on eBay, were saying this thing had 6 gigabytes of RAM. And if you look online, there appears to be two different SKUs, one with 4 and one with 6. I thought this had 6, but it has 4. And very likely anyone that you buy will have 4 no matter what the seller says. So make sure you double check that. Having said that, it didn't really matter. The performance on this thing is good. The speed, the being able to move through any kind of screens like I've shown before, everything about it is absolutely fine. And I think if you think about it, there's computers out there that still run Windows 10 with like 4 and 6 gigs of RAM and do it just fine. So an operating system like Android should work just fine. And it does. So if that was one of the things keeping you from buying this phone, I would say don't let that be the thing. You can get anywhere between 4 and 6 gigs of RAM depending on which one you pick, 64 to 128 gigs of storage. And it is a 6.5 inch display, a little bit over 1080p. You get a couple of cameras on the back, 48 megapixel main sensor with a secondary 12 megapixels ultra wide lens. And then you have a couple of depth sensing cameras and a macro shooter, which is really cool. You see here, you can actually take some close-up shots. So that's a little bit different. I think we're gonna see that in upcoming phones. But it also has Android 10 with One UI 2, the new version of One UI, and a 4,000 milliamp hour battery. Now it has a 4,000 milliamp hour battery, which did last me all day. I mean, sometimes just barely, but then again, in Vegas, it seems like phones drain a little bit faster, and certainly I was using phones quite a bit more, but it should get you through an entire day. It has an in-display fingerprint sensor if you like that sort of thing. If you don't like that sort of thing, I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. And it's got the booty hole front camera punch out, just like the Galaxy Note, if you like that sort of thing. If you're into that sort of thing. But this is the camera layout you will probably see on the back of these S20s and the new Note series, whatever the heck they want to call it this year. And this is kind of what the back looks like. Now, as I said in my initial impressions, I love the way this thing fits in a hand. It, for some reason, fits and feels so perfect. Now, I don't exactly know why. Maybe it's just that the width is perfect and the length seems really good, but this thing feels great. So obviously no wireless charging because of no glass back, and also it's not water resistant, but it does have a headphone jack, which I know will make some of you happy. Well, they're going away, people. I don't know what else to tell you. And zipping through the OS, it works just fine. There's really no problems there. Like, everything works as you would expect. It is a mid-range processor, and it's got enough RAM, and so it's not gonna be a flagship. Again, you're only spending $350. But there's one thing that I think kind of makes this thing really obvious that it's a mid-range phone, and that's the back cameras. Because to be honest, the front cameras actually look pretty good, and you can throw a couple of little special effects on there and everything. The front cameras were fine. I like it for selfies, and I had no problem with that. It's the rear cameras that kind of let me down. The macro looks pretty cool. I mean, it's a cool feature, right? Like, it's something that I think we're going to see more use of. We just haven't had use of that sort of thing up until this point. But the regular cameras routinely just did not look great. I mean, if I tried it in lights, without lights, I tried it in every type of situation. I just was never really impressed by the image quality. So is that okay? One last good thing about the cameras is they can shoot in 4K, 30 frames per second on the front and back camera. But to be perfectly honest, if you are shooting 4K content, it's unlikely you're buying a mid-range phone. Like, what are you doing? Stop being silly. You know, listen, for $350, you might want to give it a pass, but there's so many good phones at that price range. Last year's Pixel 3a is about that price right now, and the Pixel 4a will be about that price, so no, I can't give this a pass because of that. Personally, I don't think they look all that great, but you know, that's just my opinion. Leave me a comment below and you know, I guess we'll talk about it. I don't know, I don't think they look that great. But I do like that they actually put a case in the box. I know that's such a small thing, but it's nice to have a case as soon as you get a phone. And while this isn't like glass on the back or anything, it's that Glastic. It is just nice to have a little bit of extra protection. Now with the Glastic build, I mean, it feels nice, but of course it's not that glass feel. You should also know that this thing does not have MST for like Samsung Pay, which the Note series and the S10 series have, which is awesome. It also doesn't have DeX. At least I could not get DeX to work on this thing. If it does work, then it might be some software update out there, but I could never get it to work. So it's just a mid-range phone, really. It's just one of those phones that you would have for a kid or maybe an older grandparent or something like that if you wanted to give them a smartphone and get their foot in the door. But is it the best mid-range smartphone? For me, this year, I think it's going to be the battlegrounds for mid-range phones. While I was in CES, TCL, the manufacturer of many, many televisions, said they're releasing new phones starting at under $500, including a 5G version for under $500. So the lower versions of those phones, which look beautiful to me in person, are going to go right against this phone. And at that point, unless their cameras, which they said were going to be great, are not much worse than this, I would probably go with that. Now, it's possible you're just a Samsung fan and you just want to get one of these for maybe a child or an older relative or something, and that's fine. They're going to find it to be okay. I think even some kids and non-discerning eyes of people who just take pictures and post them and don't worry about it probably won't see much of a difference. But when you know that at the same price range, there are phones with much better cameras and even better processors. Last year's 845 and 855 are going to outdo this thing. I'm not sure if I can really suggest you get this. At the end of the day, I mean, if you like the look of it and you can get a great deal maybe at your carrier, I mean, some carriers might start having this phone, or if you get a really good deal on Amazon or something, I mean, sure, whatever. If you like One UI 2, or if you want Android 10 on a Samsung device and yours doesn't have it, this will give you the fill of that, I guess. But with the mid-range being the true battlegrounds of 2020, I believe that this one is just not quite good enough. There's too many good phones coming out. It's a fine phone, there's nothing wrong with it. In 2019, this might have actually been one of the best mid-range phones out there. But in 2020, I don't know. So what do you think? Are you gonna buy the Samsung Galaxy A51? Does it have all the features that you want? And if so, let me know in the comments below. And I guess I'll just tell you not to do it, I guess. If this video helped you out in any way, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. And if it didn't, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. I'm here every single week, having a blast. Hope to see you again real soon. Peace and love, peace and love. All right, time to unpack.